Hi, everyone. Welcome to a Wednesday edition of Unique Peace with me, Janice. I am the Quiet Healer. I am a Reiki Master Teacher and Medium on Long Island. And tonight we're going to talk about peace with Falon Williams. She is a coach and she's going to talk about bringing the work together with the woo, as well as what brings her peace in the wonderful state of Wisconsin. Welcome, Falon.
Hi, thank you for
How are
having me.
Oh, I'm so glad we could reschedule, and I'm so glad that this worked out on this night because
Me too.
can you kind of explain what it means to do the work with the woo? That was something that I found interesting.
Was it? So, a lot of people I feel like either pick strategy or spirituality. And I think you need a combination of both to really find success. You can't leave like your masculine or feminine side behind. You need to utilize both of them. So, I do the work of rewiring your mindset through different practices like that, doing the physical work of working out, moving your body, eating healthy, things like that. And then also the spiritual side, which is the woo side of listening to your intuition. I do tarot card readings, things like that. I'm into astrology, paying attention to all the spiritual aspects and combining them together.
Wonderful. How did you get led to do that? What was like a point in time when you decided, you know what, I need to do this?
Well, for me, I was kind of leading two different sides of myself because I was very spiritual, but I kept a lot of my spirituality to myself
Mm.
because people were kind of judgmental. A lot of people that were very Christian around me and they didn't necessarily believe in the same things that I did. So I focused more on the practical things that made sense to people that I didn't really have to explain why I was doing them. But privately, I was always incorporating the spirituality. And then as I started to grow and realize I can't keep being split in half, it doesn't work. I needed to.
No, it doesn't work. It's hard. It is hard. I understand what you mean by living two separate lives and you just got to be you.
Yeah, it's impossible. And I was talking to one of my best friends about it one day, and I was like, I just feel like I'm always trying to, like, I'm this person here and I'm this person here, and it's not working. I'm always stressed out, and it's hard to show up and show people what you're about if you're worried about what you're saying and worrying about who's going to judge you for what you're saying. So eventually it just all had to come together.
And when you work with people, when bringing it together, how do you explain doing, how do you explain it? It's like if you feel like you're two separate people and you want to be one person, you don't want to split like that movie where there's like 10 personalities.
Right.
How How are some of the ways that you help people bring it together for themselves? What strategies can you utilize to bring it in yourself?
I think the first thing is just if people have a safe space with someone they can talk to, and you can start to pick up on the things that they don't even notice that they're doing or the things that they're hiding. For example, I have one client, she never talked about her spirituality with anyone besides me because she knew that I believed the same things that she did. So we would talk about it regularly. And then one day she mentioned that she hadn't brought it out to anybody else in the world yet. So then I show people how they can start to bring things in slowly if they're not comfortable of just being like, hey, this is who I am. You don't necessarily have to do that. It can just progress naturally at a comfortable pace. It doesn't have to be a sudden change that's really shocking to yourself and everyone around you. So
And
that's one
that,
of the ways.
and that's important. And that also kind of leads to finding inner peace for yourself. So
Mhm.
when you brought it all together for yourself before you started coaching, how did you find that peace?
Um, I think just for me, it's always talking things out loud and journaling. Journaling is a big thing for me. And just people that I'm comfortable with. I think when I'm with people that I'm really good friends with, I feel are a safe space, and you just talk without filtering yourself, those things start to come out.
Yes. I love journaling as well. Now, when you journal and you're bringing yourself that peace, and do you find you get answers?
Oh,
Like if you
definitely.
something on your mind and you just let it go and then you look back and like, wait,
Yep.
I just answered my own question.
Yep. Yep. I do that when I talk too. I have friends that I can talk to. I'm like, you don't have to give me any answers. I just need to talk. Because for me, it really helps for it to be out loud. So, like, okay, I'm just talking, and then I'm like, oh, I answered my question now.
You find that that fluidity, either with the pen to paper and talking, helps other people with finding peace?
Definitely. Yeah. So I have a few different journals with journal prompts that I've done before, and they incorporate tarot card pulls too. And I've done groups using that. And
Okay.
it's been very successful for people to tap into their subconscious thoughts, because the tarot cards can pull you a little bit deeper into something you might not have thought about, because you have to be like, oh, what is this trying to tell me?
Right. And I notice when I do the journaling and the prompts and like you pull out a card, it's the synchronicities. Do you
Mhm.
notice those? It's like whatever. And it's like if you're in a group, usually the collective group will have that aha moment for whatever is going on.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why it's so fun to be doing it in a group, because you realize people are going through the same things. We often feel so alone, but we're really going through the same things.
Yeah. And uh, do you find when you're doing those groups that you'll have one night where it's all one subject and then another night it's a totally different subject completely, like everyone's having a problem with their kids and then the next night everyone's having a problem with their boss.
Yes, yes, that's exactly how it
Yes.
goes.
So, yes, I've had many of those. It's like I've had client after client after client one day where it was all, my daughter, it was all teenage girls. And I'm like,
Mhm.
that's the kind of day it's going to be extra, extra estrogen over here.
Yeah,
And it's like getting them calm so that they can deal with the extra trauma of being a teenage girl and remembering, like, how do I calm myself down? How do I calm myself down?
right. And
So,
I've always found it to be curious, because it could be, all over the country or even the world. You're talking to different people from all different places, and we're all dealing with the same things.
yeah, I love synchronicities.
Yeah.
Speaking of calming down, if you find yourself in a particularly stressful or high stress situation, whether it be with your kids or with your spouse or significant other, how do you find ways to calm down, especially in the moment?
In the moment, I like to do different kinds of breathing techniques, or I'm really good at putting myself in a different place in my mind if I need to.
Okay.
So I can go to a little quiet place and relax while the world around me is chaotic, until I calm down and can deal with the situation at hand. Because I don't want to just be reacting, especially when you have kids. Sometimes the things that they say and do, you're just like, but you don't want to react, because then you're teaching them to just react. So I want to like take some breaths, find a calm place, try to think about the situation and respond from a calm place.
Okay, I do very similar things with my son, and it's just okay. You need to take a step back, and it's very hard in the moment trying to teach them how to be calm in the moment when they're like frustrating you. You're like, okay,
Right?
I need a minute, and
Yeah.
I physically have to walk away and take some breaths myself.
Yeah, I've definitely have those. We need to separate for a minute and let's go to our opposite corners, the other room, whatever you need to do. If it's nice out, go outside, get some air, and then let's come back together and talk about it when we're in a place that we can have a conversation. Because I know for sure one of my kids, he gets very angry. There's no conversing with him at that point. It's just angry, pouty faces, and he's just gonna be like, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, and you don't get anywhere. So he needs a good hour probably.
Okay. And so you have multiple children. So when you're dealing
Yeah.
with multiple personalities, okay. And
Mhm.
I don't mean physically in your head, I mean physically in your space.
Yeah, physically in my space. Lots of
It's
personalities.
it's dinner time, it's breakfast time, it's Saturday morning, and three of them got, different sports.
Hmm.
How do you try and calm the situation and say, okay, so and so, you're going to get a ride with that mom, you're getting a ride with that mom, I'm your mom, I'm your ride. Don't burn the house down. How do you deal with all that?
I try to make sure that I plan everything ahead of time. That makes a big difference for me. So I have to say, this is what time everybody needs to get up so we can be, I need you to eat by this time. I need you to be dressed by this time so we can flow through the morning. We're leaving the house at this time. And everybody knows what we're doing the night before. Because if I try to plan it all in the morning, it's going to be chaos.
Yeah.
I want clothes out. I want to know what you want to eat. Make sure we have it. Your water bottle's in the fridge so we can grab it. Your bag's packed. So I check the bags ahead of time. All that stuff. It's all pre-planning for me. That keeps it all together.
You mitigate as much chaos as possible.
Yes. I mean, there's still some bound to happen, but
Yeah. Do you find the kids respond well to that structure and helping the house stay peaceful?
yes, normally, unless they don't get enough sleep or they don't feel like they wanted whatever for breakfast the day before. Now they want something that we don't have.
Oh, that's fun. I've
Yeah,
been there.
yeah,
and,
right.
and then it's have a granola bar and get in the car. This
Yes,
is what we have.
right. That's exactly how it goes.
So, what are some of the other ways, like when you help people, like whether you're helping people journaling or you're leading a group or your kids or in the work environment or even people you're coaching? What's some of the ways that you bring peace to the situation?
I think the number one thing is just letting people know this is a safe place for you to let all of your feelings out. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to listen, and you can tell me exactly what's going on. And just that in itself, knowing that they have somewhere they can come to, that they're not going to be judged at all on what they have to say, helps them relax. And other times, you're going to have to start with some breathing techniques or, suggest, like, if you're really, really stressed out and you can't even sit down, you're agitated, you might need to go for a walk or work out. And we can come back and have the conversation once you get all that energy out, because you can't focus when you're in a really agitated state. You're not going to get very far. So I found physical activity helps a lot.
It does, and it kind of clears your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So now, when you're coaching clients, what kind of clients do you coach, and how do you help them bring the work and the woo together and peace? Find that self peace.
I generally work with women, and usually women that are trying to juggle a lot of different things. Mostly mothers that are working or have a business, or they're working and they have a business and they have kids. So it's a lot of pieces that they have to put together. And a lot of times when we're doing that, we lose the spiritual side because we're so focused on we have to do this, this, and this. And then we lose the other parts of us that we really need as women.
Yes. Yeah.
So we work with, at first, I like to start with, like, what's going on in your life right now? What's working? What's not working? Why isn't it working? Like, why are you to the point that you're overwhelmed? What like small changes can we make right away to make your life easier? And a lot of times people think things are working fine, even though I can see that it's chaotic. So as time progresses, we implement more changes into how they're doing things in a way that works for them. Because I found that a lot of people think you have to do things a certain way because that's the way their parents did it or that's the way their friends do it. And it just doesn't work for them.
No, meeting them where they're at is
Yeah.
very important.
Yeah. Because if you have, ADHD or something, and you're trying to just do like this task list that your neurotypical best friend does, and it's just making you madder.
Right.
Like you need different strategies based on who you are. And then, I think one of the biggest things is making time for yourself. Like, what do you do for you that is not for anyone else, just solely for you? And people will be like, what do you mean?
Isn't that so wonderful? Because you're like, what?
Like, what do you do do you have a hobby? Well, how do I do that? Like, the same way you do things for everybody else. You take this time in your calendar and you block it off and you say, this is my time. And if you don't know what you like, we got to go back to when you're a kid. What kind of stuff did you like to do? Let's find some new things that we can try out and find things that you like. And then I try to encourage people to find time for things like journaling and meditation. And then as you progress, you can introduce more things about. I found that once you slow down, people start hearing their intuition more. And then we can
Yes.
naturally progress into that.
Yes, that is it, it is key to slow down to tune in. You have to find a quiet place to tune in.
Yeah.
And it's not always easy in the very loud, chaotic world that we live in, where we get caught in that busyness trap. I've got to be busy. I've got to be busy. I've got to be busy. It's like, no. And when you leave that busyness trap, that's
Mm-hmm.
really when you can tune in and find some peace.
Right. And it amazes me how many people don't have any downtime at all.
Yeah, that's a scary thought. I don't know if I can
You
handle
don't have
that.
any time by yourself? No. I'm like, how? Like, I don't think I could function if I didn't make time for myself.
Right. And what are some of the things that you like to do for yourself that other people can maybe put into their brain is like, oh, I haven't tried that. Maybe I can do that and start their journey to having that little bit of time.
Well, working out is a big thing for me. That is one of the best ways for me to keep my stress at a good level. And I like to do different kinds of creative projects. I love photography. So I'll do photography and edit photos. And it doesn't have to be for anything in particular. It's just fun to do. I like to play around with like different edits and just do like weird different pictures. I like to write different things. I like to draw. I like to go hiking and boating, and I like to go shooting. And I like to try different things. Like we have a rage room here where you go and break stuff. That was fun to do.
I want to try that room. Let me tell you, we have one out here, and there's actually an option where you can bring your own stuff. So if there's a bunch of stuff that you've been trying to get rid of and you don't know what to do, you bring your own stuff. They give you the bats, and you rent the room, and you can break your stuff. I love it.
It was amazing. I was like, oh, at a period of time when I was really stressed out this summer, my best friend was like, hey, I booked the breaking room and we're going to go there. And they give you like metal pole, like these steel bars and axes and
Oh,
some bats. And they give you like dishes to throw and bottles to smash. And it's just for 45 minutes, you just smash everything in the room. You can smash everything in the room, even like the bookshelves and
oh, wow. Cool.
yeah, everything. So, and then the owner was like, the women always do better at this.
We have issues sometimes.
Yeah, we have so much we have to deal with. And we always have to be the calm center of everything. So I think
Yes.
sometimes it all, you gotta let it all out.
Yes. Yes. Now, in doing all of that, how do you help? Like, I know that you have a couple of teenage daughters.
Hmm.
Wh- What is the best way to share that, hey, you don't have to be all things to all people, and no, you don't have to fit in to be you?
Well, I start, just by telling them that, but I think the biggest thing is demonstrating that in the way that I live my life. Because they kind of listen to what you say a little bit, but
They observe us more than
yeah,
anything.
but they're always observing. And I will catch them saying things that I've said before. So I know that they're listening when I talk to other people. And when I set boundaries and things like that, I see them doing the same thing. And I'm like, I'm doing a good job because they're catching on. Or they'll notice when their friends are having emotional issues and like, well, I think that this situation was too much for her and she was overstimulated and I tried to like tell her some things that she could do, just different things like that I know that they're watching everything that I do.
I notice boys do that too. My
Yeah.
son observes everything too, and he'll come to me with things, and I'm like, "What?" Or he'll ask me like, "Why girls do that?" And I go, "Oh, she'll navigate. She'll be human one time. At some point, she will be sweet again. I promise.
Hopefully.
Believe, and it will happen." But at the same time, he's very good at like he's learning to take a step back himself, and he's observing, and they observe us more than we realize. And I think demonstration is a great
Yeah,
way.
definitely. Show them where the tools are and let them find them when they need them. Because we can't be like, you have to do this right now. This is going to work for you. We just have to be like, well, this is here if you need it. If there's a lot of
Yes.
noise and you don't like it, you can put your AirPods on noise cancellation. But I'm not going to like force you, like, put your headphones in. Be like, we have this available to you because I feel like with teenagers, having a choice in how they're handling things makes a big difference.
It does. I absolutely agree there. Absolutely agree there. So, if one of your clients were to come to you and say, Fallon, it's been really rough these last couple of weeks. I'm following your tools and suggestions, and I'm just not feeling peaceful. I'm feeling stressed out. And I've done, I work out, I walk, I try and meditate, and you hear the overwhelm and them
Mhm.
working themselves into a tizzy. How do you kind of diffuse that to where you're not stressed and getting overwhelmed, because that can be, as empaths, very overwhelming, and
Mhm.
at the same time bring them down to that calm state?
I think sometimes people are also doing too many things to try to fix the situation. Like, well, it's a checklist again. Like, well, I did this, this, and this, and it didn't work. I still feel like this. What did you feel your feelings the first time though? Or are we avoiding our feelings with the tools? So sometimes I think
Mm.
I just have to get to the root of the problem. Like, okay, well, when did the stress start? What things are adding to the stress? Like, what is the actual cause of it? Because we can put all of the tools on top of it, but if we haven't figured out what's actually going on, then we can't really fix the problem.
Right,
Just
right.
talking through, what's going on. Is it an issue with kids, with a significant other, with a job? Are you just stressed out in general? Because sometimes we don't know what it is. But once we start talking about all the things that are going on, we can start to see, like, well, I haven't been sleeping that well, or yeah, it's been a rough week, so I'm not following my good eating habits, or yeah, I worked out, but it wasn't the workout I wanted to do. We're just doing what we think we should be doing. Like, I did this because you told me it would help me if I worked out, but
It's interesting that you bring up the shoulds.
yeah.
Shoulds are very important to address.
Mm-hmm.
because something that you should be doing versus something that you want to do could be detrimental for your health.
Right.
It's interesting that because we have a lot of shoulds in our lives. We should
Yeah.
be doing this, or I, as a mom, should be doing this, or my son should be doing this, and then you project onto your children. Yeah, there's a lot of coulda, woulda, shouldas,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you. I think that brings a lot of stress. We get into our brain, we get into our own head that way.
Yeah. That was one of my big things last year was changing I should to I desire. So, what do I actually desire to do? What do I actually desire my life to look like? And are the things I'm doing leading to that? Or are they just leading to like somebody else's goals?
Right. Right. And Steve Harvey has a similar mindset of don't say I have to. I have to go to work. I
Mhm.
have to do my laundry. I have to do this. It's I get to, because then it's more of a joy, and I get to go to work because then I get to make money so that I get to pay my bills so that I can continue to live my life and
Right.
turn it into a blessing. And where you're turning your shoulds into a desire, then you get rid of the shoulds and then you start doing what you want to do.
Yeah. Which is what we're here to do. I don't know when it became necessary for people to try to do all these things that don't make them happy, that make other people happy. Like it's your life.
Yeah, I do very few things that don't make me happy.
Me either.
I
No,
mean, it's
yeah, I
go
was
ahead.
talking to my boss about that at work yesterday. I was like, well, if you're not happy, and he's like, well, happiness isn't that important. I was like, then what is the purpose? What are we doing?
Oh boy. No, happiness is very important. It's like it's not like
Yeah.
compromising with your significant other or spouse is like, okay, I really don't like this friend, but he's your friend. I'm gonna go with you to this party, and
Right.
she's my friend, and you're gonna come with me. I mean, and it's like very limited. But we are, my partner and he and I are both empathic, and we get overwhelmed easily. So there's certain people where it's just like, okay, I've had enough. And we can tell when the other person is checked out. It's like, I've had enough. And it's just like sitting on the couch on his phone. Okay, he'll be there a while. Me, I'm just kind of like, I'm gonna go over here.
Yeah, it's good
So
that you have that in your partner, though, that they can recognize that because it is really hard to be an empathic person and for other people to start to overwhelm you and it doesn't make sense to normal, quote unquote, normal people. And
yes,
you're just like, yeah, this situation has gotten to be a lot. I need to go. Like, I'm done with it now. And
yeah,
everybody else is
and
like, I'm having fun. I'm like, oh,
no,
no, I gotta go.
yeah, yeah. My ex-husband, I would have to stay because he was having a good time.
Yeah.
It's like when the man I'm with now, it's like, yeah, whenever you're ready, just let me know. I'll go mingle. And the same is true for him. We have that, going on. It's like, okay, we gotta go. And usually it's like, I don't know about you, but sometimes socializing can just be a little much. And it's like, okay, it's been an hour and a half. I'm good. Unless it's like you're going to a movie where you're entertained for 2 hours. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've reached my limit.
Right. And for me, it depends a lot on who I'm with. If it's a lot of people I'm not familiar with, it can get to be draining faster. Whereas if it's all my friends and I know them, it'll take me a little longer to be ready to check out. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely social
That's
situations can be a lot.
And it's harder to find peace in social situations where you're not comfortable. So it's just trying to like find that room in your head and go there and sit in that space. It's like, okay, I'm good. I'm good. Oh, this song's nice. And just chill
Yeah.
out.
But then people think I look mean when I'm doing that. Well, you don't look very happy. I'm like, I'm just trying to relax.
I thought that all happened to me. It's like, are you happy? I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm good. And it's
Yeah.
like, but because you're not constantly smiling or being gregarious or in the conversation, it can be misconstrued because
Definitely.
it's like you get quiet and people are like, what happened? And it's like,
Yeah.
nothing. I'm quiet now.
Yeah, it's quiet time now.
Awesome. Now, have you ever found ways to make yourself peaceful that might be unusual for some people?
Hmm. I don't think so. None that I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay.
Do you
I
have an
have
example?
like, well, people who like will go to yoga and then like they want to just stand on their head. I cannot do an inversion to save my life unless I'm against a wall.
Me too. Yeah, I have to be against the wall.
But it's just like kind of like taking a walk and doing scream therapy
Hmm.
at the same time. I would not do that in my neighborhood, but in the mountains,
It'd be interesting in your neighborhood.
the people might be worried. I mean, I've had scream therapy. It brings me peace. I have scream therapy in the car. Like if it's been
Yeah.
a really stressful day at the office and I get it all out. I get it all out of the people that I feel have either annoyed me on purpose,
Mhm.
have stressed me out on purpose, yelled at me or blamed me for things that I didn't do. And I'm like, you just like, okay, okay, okay. And really, it's really getting to you in the car. And what's great about doing it in the car these days is people don't look at you funny because of Bluetooth. You could be having an argument for, and they don't know.
That's true. I
So that's
think
a unique way I bring peace to myself.
I love that. I like really loud music at the end of the day.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And if it's summer, I can take the top off my Jeep. There's nothing better than loud music and all the sun in the air.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like the best feeling. But it's 20 below right now in Wisconsin or something ridiculous like that. So the air hurts. So it's not fun.
Yeah, it's well, I mentioned before I went to Valparaiso. It was a joke because we were in a valley. We called it Valparaiso Snow, Indiana. And we only have two seasons, cold and construction.
That's how it is here. Yeah. As soon as the
And
snow melts, it'll be construction season again.
right, and I bet you have the same thing where it's like crystal blue, beautiful looking sky in January, in February, and it's ice cold. It's like bundle up.
Yeah, the sun was gone for about a month. It came back yesterday and it brought with it frigid 20 below temperatures. But I'm still happy because I saw the sun when I woke up this morning. So there's hope for spring.
Just gotta make it to March. Just gotta make it to
I'm like looking at the weather every day to see how much longer the days are getting.
But that's also a great thing because that sunshine helps to raise the dopamine and the
Mhm.
vitamin D and make you happy. That
Yeah,
seasonal depression disorder is really hard to get out of.
it is. People are really struggling this year, especially I've noticed. I've heard
And
from a lot of people like I'm just in a really down place right now. Like it's January. Well, now it's February, but yeah.
yeah, and I actually have a friend, fellow she had to get her daughter a special light for
Mm.
this depression while she was at school because she was getting so depressed that she wasn't going to classes and that she was starting to fail.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's
So
really hard, especially like if you regularly want to be outside doing stuff too and you're stuck inside.
you're
Yeah,
stuck.
you're stuck. You can't do anything.
Yeah, unless you're a child and you have siblings and you pick on each other to drive your parents crazy, that's different.
Yeah. Yeah, but in the summer, if I'm stressed out, I'm going outside. I
Oh,
get some
definitely.
feel the air. In the winter, it doesn't quite have the same thing. I know cold immersion therapy is a thing, but
Not for me.
not for me. I saw a lady had a giant tub of ice. So she would just break the ice up on the top and she would dunk in the water outside. And she was doing
Oh
this
gosh.
every day. I guess it's really good for anxiety, but I'm like, I don't know.
No, I have a friend as well. Michael and I have a friend, and she will go to the beach every day. She's been doing it for over a decade. She's never missed a sunrise. So she'll get up and go to the sunrise, and if she's somewhere where she's not at the beach, she still gets up to go to the sunrise. But when she's home, it gets cold here in Long Island. It still
Yeah,
snows and everything. We're not close to the equator. She gets up and she'll walk barefoot in the icy water.
that's
Ow, is all I can say. And she's
yeah.
like, she works past the pain and it helps. She goes by feeling that pain. Um, she can regulate her dopamines and synapses levels right away versus trying to chase a high.
Mhm.
She's, you know, she's not always trying to chase the high. She's dealing with the pain and meeting it where it's at and then raising her levels. It's like, oh boy, I'm not a fan of cold water.
No, me either. And I was reading about it recently and all the benefits. And I'm like, it sounds really good in theory.
Yeah,
I
I
can
tell you.
I don't think I can do it in practice. I'm not there yet. Maybe one day.
I'm not there yet either. I have a hard enough time getting into like a 70-degree pool. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's cold. They're like,
right.
it's 70 degrees. It's like,
Yeah, I stick with the hot tub too, so I'm not sure I'm doing ice cold water. I used to when I was a kid. It didn't bother me at all, but
yeah, as we get older,
yeah,
it's less, it takes it's a different toll on the body.
it definitely is. Yeah.
Mhm. So, what are some suggestions you have for people looking to bring peace into their lives in this chaos that sometimes takes over?
Make sure you're making time for yourself. Do some things that bring you joy. Like they don't have to have a purpose. You don't have to be making money or like making a physical thing to show people, just things that bring you joy. And spend some time getting in touch with yourself through, journaling or meditation. Or some people don't like to write. You can take the little voice notes on your phone. Just whatever things you can do to get in touch with yourself that has nothing to do with anyone else. It's just for you. I think that's the best way to bring peace to your life.
Wonderful. And so you are a coach and you do coach primarily women. But
Mhm.
what kind of coaching? What I like, do you specialize in personal coaching or like professional development coaching?
Personal coaching.
Life coach.
Yep. Yep. I'm a life coach, an intuitive life coach. Yeah.
And what makes that rewarding?
I love seeing women find happiness and peace in their lives and start doing more stuff for themselves, start being more open about who they really are authentically. Just like the growth that I see. And then the friendships that I have created through these coaching relationships, everyone that I have worked with, we end up being so close afterwards. Because not just, I know a lot of people coach and then they're like, okay, well, our container is done. Bye. But I'm like collecting friends from coaching.
I probably would be collecting friends. I just can't. It's like here you are. I can't just do that. I'm
No,
with you.
like, oh, our relationship is done now. Your payment has ran out. No, like,
Oh,
I built these great, meaningful relationships and I watch people grow and change. And it's such an amazing feeling to be able to help people when people reach out to me and say, like, oh, this happened today and I learned this from you. So I was able to deal with it. And another great thing is when I was going through a divorce this last year and I had some hard days and some of
hard.
the most helpful people in my life were people that had been my clients using things I had
Aw,
taught them on me.
that's awesome. I
I'm
love
like,
that.
oh, I did teach you stuff because now you're using it on me.
Divorce is hard. It's one of the hardest things that because you want the marriage to work. I know I've gone through divorce myself, so
Mhm.
it's not the easiest thing to go through, and you have hard days,
Yeah.
and having that support system is a great thing. And I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you had that support system and you coached everybody who coached you.
Yeah, now they coach me. So I have a whole bunch of people I could go to when I'm like, oh, I'm having a bad day. And then you're like, well, and they tell me these things. And I'm like, I think I've heard that before.
Hmm.
Or one of my former clients had screenshotted a story that I had posted probably 2 years ago. And she sent it to me the other day. She was like, this is in my memories. And I thought we could both use the reminder.
That's so sweet.
And I was like, that's awesome. Thank you.
So you have a great community on Facebook.
Yeah.
If you want to share the name of that, so people can join it and get
Yeah,
a good.
that's Captivation Queens is the name of the group on Facebook, and it's all women. It's a really safe, non-judgmental place that we can talk about whatever is going on in your lives, and everyone in there is really supportive. And even if you don't feel like you're comfortable posting publicly in the group, there's anonymous options in there too, so you can post anonymously if you need help with anything. And we share different videos and tips, and I do tarot card pulls and different Mondays we do different affirmations and things. Just nice positive space for us to come together.
It is. I am a member myself, and it is a very supportive group, and it is there's a lot of fun people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun people. There are some things that get posted, it's like, okay, that's where you're at. And then some of the questions and in responses, but it is very supportive. It is
Yeah,
very
and everybody's all at different places. It's not like where you and I, we already know the things that we need to do, even though sometimes we need reminders, but we know the things we need to do. You don't have to be in that place. You can be, I just woke up today and decided I need to start working on my life and I don't know what I'm doing. It doesn't matter. Everybody
Here
from
you
all
are.
is there and working together.
Yeah. And if someone was like, I need a life coach and I like the way this sounds and the way this might work for me, how would they reach you?
They can reach me on Facebook is probably the best way. It's Falon Marie on Facebook. And you can just send me a DM and we can talk and see if it's a good fit and go from there.
Wonderful. And thank you so much for all the wonderful advice on peace and the life coaching that we got today, some of
Thank
it.
you.
And I thank you for joining us, and everybody who is watching now or who watches in the future. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to hear from you again very soon.
And thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. It was a fun conversation.
Uh, yes, and everybody, if you are in need of some life coaching or just want some advice and getting through the day, do join the Captivation Queens.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.